So welcome to Game.Set.Chat, and we are still at a distance. I'm Chanda Rubin, as always, alongside Zina Garrison. Zina, it's good to see you today. How have things been going?
It's actually, it's been going. We're getting a little bit of rain down here, but Chanda, I am nervous. Houston is having a spike in the COVID-19. It's kind of scary again.
It's been tough, I think, for everybody, but definitely for me too, because it's hard to tell. Everybody's in different states of reopening. And it's hard to kind of tell exactly where things are. And of course, we've been seeing a lot in the news and on social media about some of the tennis players who have been testing positive, particularly who have played Novak Djokovic's Adria Tour. And it's scary. I mean, we are looking at reopening events coming back live online beginning of August. And, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's actually really scary. And then I woke up this morning to Djokovic, who actually also tested positive, and so it's really, really scary. And, people really need to take this stuff really serious. And when I know you guys get tired of me harping on, wear your mask, but I'm also going to put out there, we also need to wear glasses as well, because it's been going through the eyes as well.
Yeah, I think we all just have to keep doing what we're doing in terms of social distancing, in terms of wearing masks. I mean, that's probably the one easiest thing that we hear can help prevent the spread, and just keep being safe. I mean, we're going to be in this for a little while, varying degrees, and, for everyone's good. I mean, we are literally all in this together, and I think some of these situations are kind of showing us that. And of course, that's one of the reasons, the main reason why, we started this show was because we kind of knew be a little while. We've been, doing our show now for almost 3 months, and it's been fun. It's been a while. We've been rocking and rolling. We've had some fantastic guests, and today is no different. I mean, this guy, I love this guy who's coming on, Clyde Drexler. Zina, your great friend. He and I have become friends over the years, and we joke around a lot. Hi, Clyde.
Hey, Shanda. Hello, Zina. How y'all doing?
We are good. I mean, I know you need no introduction, but I love to kind of go through my spiel just a little bit for those who are watching. You have been an NBA superstar, 15 seasons. You have a championship title. You have a gold medal. You have been an all-star for like 10 times. It's something ridiculous. We won't even go through your stats, but I just always knew you as Clyde the Glide first, and I knew what that meant. So thank you for coming on the show with us today.
Thank you, the pride of Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yes, homeboy. Yes, my homeboy. I gotta mention that. But now, Clyde, you and Zina have known each other forever. I mean, you go back to what, high school? Is that what I'm hearing? I mean, tell me.
Yeah, we actually go back. Zina go back to high school, but our families knew each other as well.
Many years before that, exactly.
Really?
But Zina, let me tell you a Zina story, Shanda.
Now, please, I'm waiting.
Zina was in so many tournaments. We had first period together. It was a Spanish class, right? And Zina would come in and she would lay her head on the desk because she'd be so tired, right? She's probably been traveling all weekend. Now it's Monday. She's finally getting back to class. So she'd be so tired. She'd put her head on the desk, and I'd always tap her. Zina, teacher's looking at you.
Looking out for her.
Oh, and her name was Mrs. Blaylock, and she would, Clyde, touch Zina. Touch Zina, Clyde. So, but the moral of that story, I always like to tell this one. So we actually had the opportunity to go to the Olympics at the same time. I went to Barcelona. And, I remember Clyde, I knew a couple more words than he knew. And I'm like, I was the one that was asleep.
So this was Spanish class?
1992 in Barcelona, right? I'll tell you another story, Shanda. So I'm hanging with David Stern, who's the commissioner, and over the Dream Team, and Coach Lenny Wilkins and Coach K, and they all love to play tennis. And so David Stern saw Zina at the tennis center and lost his mind, right? And he saw me talking to her. He goes, "Clyde, do you know her?" I go, "Yeah, we go way back." He goes, "No, you don't. You don't know her." He said, "If you know her, set up a game so I could play with her. I would love to hit with her." And of course, I said it, I called Zina. She was gracious enough to do it. David Stern got to play with Zina Garrison, made his whole trip. I think that was more important to him than the Dream Team.
In the Dream Team? I mean, that's incredible. Zina, you were above the Dream Team.
Look,
absolutely.
Only that whole trip was a trip because that we had so much fun playing doubles, and then I remember asking Clyde not to come watch me play because the Dream Team was so popular. Everywhere they go, it was like crowds and crowds of people. So he's like, yeah, I'm not coming. Okay, whatever. So all of a sudden, I'm on the court and I see these massive amount of people. He done snuck in on the side of the court.
Hey, we got to support our people. We got to support. Come on.
Well, and Zina, so that was like when there was all the security around, and so you knew when they showed up. I mean,
Chandler,
it was.
I had never, ever seen anything like that in my life. I mean,
it didn't stop you. You did pretty well.
Yeah, that's true. But that Dream Team, and Clyde invited me over to the hotel, and I remember just trying to get into the hotel, and they all just hanging out. And outside, they were like rock stars, and I was like, "This is insane."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an incredible 1992. I mean, what was that like? I mean, you were in the thick of your career. You were a star, Clyde, obviously, in your own right. But what was it like being on that team with so many other great players?
It was tremendous because, whenever you have a chance to represent your country, it's a great feeling, right? But being NBA stars, I was in my 9th year. So, you got a track record. You're playing with guys like Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. So you're playing with some of the legends of the game. Karl Malone, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing. Come on. So it doesn't get into John Stockton. I mean, these guys we were all pretty accomplished. So we knew what we had. And so it was a great moment in time to be able to do that, especially when you never thought that professionals would be allowed to participate in the Olympics ever again. Because remember, it was an amateur sport before that time.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, so I'm curious, when you're on a team like that with so many great players, everybody's got their strengths, right? I mean, for any team, the hard part is kind of meshing and gelling and playing together and kind of complementing each other. How did that work? How did you feel you had to kind of fit in? Did you have to make some real adjustments to kind of, make the team overall better, or was that a challenge? How did that work for you?
Shonda, you've been I don't know if you played team tennis. Was it around?
I have, but I mean, that's different than a basketball team.
It's a little
right?
bit
I mean, we're
different,
still on court individually a little bit,
but
so.
Here's the key. You put those great players anywhere, they'll figure out a way to contribute and make it happen. That's why they're good. So that's what it was like. You don't need to even say anything. Just put us on the floor. We'll figure it out, and we'll find a way to win. It was an easy deal.
I want to take it back a little bit of how you really started. So a lot of people know, but we got a lot of new people that, are around now starting. So your whole basketball career, I know it. And also I want you to talk a little bit about McGregor Park as well.
Well, but Zina, getting started, obviously, you never thought you'd be good enough, or that's not the reason you did what you did. You did it because you loved it. I love basketball. I played 10 hours a day, right? So after watching Zina turn pro, and then this girl from Lake Charles turned pro, all the pressure was on me.
Anyway, Lori.
You're right. I forgot about Laurie McNeil. So, being an avid tennis fan and then playing the sport of basketball, you put that same amount of talent. When I see John having you guys run the Bayou, well, when I'm in high school, I ran the Bayou twice as much as you guys did, because basketball is nothing but running, right? So you got to put in the time and effort to improve your skill sets to become a better player. And that's what it was all about. The fact that I had, went to University of Houston, which is a great moment in time, created Phi Slamma Jamma, so, come on now. So good things happen. And the more you work on your stuff, the luckier you get. I'm not telling you guys nothing. You guys are, Zina, you were 3 in the world for years, and Shonda, you were a top 20 player for what, 12?
Top 10.
For a few years.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Clyde, one of my stories that I love that I always tell people, and I don't even know if you totally remember, but I remember when you guys brought Akeem Olajuwon over to McGregor Park. And I remember you came over and you said, Zina, come over. And I came over and I was like, that dude from where? He can't even dribble. And then I saw him, then you came back a couple of months later. And I was like, Clyde, do you remember that? I was like, that's not the same guy. Like, the work ethics that you guys had helped him and instilled in him, can you kind of tell us about that? Because that has always blown my mind.
Yeah, when he first came from Nigeria, he was 6'11", 190 pounds, right? Which means he was skinny. And so Coach Lewis and everybody, we all gathered around and we say, you know what? We needed a big man. And in order to beat the best teams in the country, you got to have a good big man. And one thing he had that you couldn't teach was height. I mean, and he had good legs because he played soccer in Nigeria, but he didn't know a lot about basketball. So we gave him the quick tour. First, he had to gain some weight, and then he had to just play basketball as much as he could every day. And we helped him every chance we got. But give Hakeem Olajuwon a lot of credit. He did it on his own. He put in the time, the work, and he became a better player. Guys like Moses Malone really helped. I mean, he was 3-time MVP of the league at the time. Guy Lewis, one of the best big man coaches in the history of the college game. And then he had teammates like myself, Michael Young, Larry Mishaw, all those guys. We all came together and really helped.
Now, I'm curious. Yeah. Well, I'm curious because you talk about the team and some of the guys on the team, and we know you won your championship with the Rockets, but Portland. I want you to talk a little bit about Portland because I was reading. I was like doing some more research. I mean, we've known each other for some years, but every time we get together, we just joke and talk about other stuff. But I did research a little bit. I was like, okay. So I'm wondering what was so special about that team? The way you talk about it, you guys got to 2 or 3 finals. Just came up a little short. What was so special about that team?
Well, we were close as a team, and when you're in a small market, the rest of the world and the league, they're not really pulling for a small market, especially back then. So they're pulling for the New Yorks, the Chicagos, and the Los Angeles markets at all times because it's better ratings, right? And so we knew we had our work cut out for us. We knew that we had to be much better than everybody else just to have an opportunity to get to the finals. And so that team had a lot of heart, a lot of grit. Our strategy was we were going to outwork you, and we're going to make you quit. And so that's the way we played. And we had a lot of success. Nobody talks about that team because it was a smaller market. We were not on TV a lot, but the people who played against us, they know. But,
there's a documentary out, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things, Shonda and Zina, where you just do the best you can. Back then, if you're drafted to Utah, you couldn't say, well, I don't want to play for Utah. I want to go to LA. So whoever drafted you, first of all, you're grateful. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you're going to do the best you can. So Portland drafted me. It's a small market, not my fault. But we're still playing the sport of basketball, and that's what you happen to be good at. So we had a lot of success.
Well, and Chen, at my part, when he went to Portland, I would get phone calls in the middle of the night. Hey, Z, guess what? Guess what, Z? Guess what? I play such and such. I'm like, dude, you know what's happening? So it was really good when he made it to Houston finally because, we had those conversations. And he always loved talking tennis. Always talking tennis.
Well, that's what that's what I kind of want to ask you about. Okay, so did that happen knowing Zina from way back, being at McGregor Park? Where did the love for tennis, the interest in tennis come along?
Well, I think I grew up playing tennis right along with Zina, just in different places, real close. But certainly that was the game I picked before basketball.
Oh,
Shonda. And
I didn't know that.
Shonda, we played all sports seasonal because we had nothing else to do. No video games, no cable. No phones, no internet. So we played sport. That's what we did. And so I remember when Zina was telling me, her and Laurie were the toast of the tennis world, and she said they got this girl coming up from Lake Charles. She's gonna be really good.
And I called big hitter. I said big hitter.
Big hitter. She hits it hard without even trying.
That's all I knew. That's all I knew, Clyde. And I gotta say, Lafayette, because Lafayette gonna be like, why is she agreeing? She from Lake Charles, close, like 45 minutes away. Lafayette, and not far from that bayou, because I ran it once or twice too.
Yeah, that's hard work.
Oh yeah, that put it on you for sure. And so just in terms of tennis, I'm curious, knowing the skill set of tennis, the skill set of basketball, are there some similarities? Are there some major differences that you kind of saw? Or were there some things that helped you one with the other?
Well, as you know, in any sport, you got to be, first of all, a good athlete. You got to have good movement. You got to have good skill level, but you also got to be in shape. You can't get tired. And so basketball, one thing in basketball, you know you're running, so you better do some running to be a better runner, makes you a better player. But in tennis, the one thing I got from tennis that really helped me in basketball was quick feet, the ability to anticipate before something happens. And so because I always worked on my quick feet in tennis, when I got to the NBA, I was always in the top 5 in steals every year. I would get a lot of steals. Yeah, and so all of that was anticipation, just from my tennis drill, early preparation. And so I transferred that to the basketball world. And boy, they used to throw the ball right to me, and I go down and dunk it. And so the coach goes, "He's around. Don't throw it over there."
Wow. So that's where the glide came in. Is that where the glide? Yes.
Wow.
So you work on every aspect of the game, right?
Yeah. A lot of basketball players played tennis, but I remember you and John Lucas always told me that it was a good connection. And I remember John Lucas took me and Lori out and started training us with basketball drills. And I remember throwing up like never before. I was like, no, tennis is easier compared to running back and forth. That's when I learned about suicides. I never want to see suicides again in my life, okay? And John would say to me, he would say, "Zina, go outside and throw up and get on back in here and work out." I'm like, what? So,
see, that's the way they treated us. Can you believe that? They don't do that to athletes today.
They need to. I mean, that's hardcore, but it made you tough out there.
Oh, no doubt.
So.
And see, if you run that bayou, that's 5 miles at like 2 o'clock in the summer when it's 120 degrees. That's extreme conditioning, right? And then for a basketball player, that's only one part of your workout. Now you got to go to the weight room for an hour or two, and then you got to hit the gym and work on your actual skills. So you got 6-7 hours, maybe 10 hours a day. So it was difficult, but if you love it, it's a labor of love. And for me, I never thought it would be,
that's true,
as fruitful as it has been, but it's been a true blessing. It's taken me around the world. Zina and I were in the Olympics together. I mean, you never think, from Houston, Texas, think about that, Zina. From the area of South Park, Martin Luther King, Sunnyside, nobody would ever have given us a chance. But through the miracle of hard work and having good people around you, great things happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was reading also, Clyde, that you are the commissioner of the Big Three. What is that like? How did you get into that? And what is that like? I've watched some of the games, obviously nothing, going on, now in the recent, months, but what has that experience been like?
It's been incredible, Shannon. We're in that 4th season. The Big Three is incredible. 3-on-3 half-court basketball played by professionals like Amari Stoudemire, Joe Johnson, Corey Maggette, Cuttino Mobley, Steven Jackson, some of the best basketball players in the world. But 3-on-3, they're still effective because it's half court and they play 1 day a week. So they have recovery time. As you get older, the one thing you need is recovery time. So our games are highly competitive. They're sold out. We play in NBA arenas. It's 3-on-3 half court. But man, these guys go at it. And then we have a 4-point shot. It was founded by a rapper, Ice Cube, and his business partner, Jeff Quantnitz. And those guys are visionaries. And they have created something that the players and the fans love. I mean, we have WNBA coaches, Nancy Lieberman, Lisa Leslie, coaching these guys, and they are phenomenal, the best in the world. It's the best 3-on-3 basketball in the entire world, bar none.
Well, it's funny because I remember when you had your first game here, and this is the first time you really got on me. You like, why are you not coming? Why are you not coming? Clyde, it's like, so that was really interesting. So I'm really proud of you for that. And it has been exciting. I've had some friends that have gone and they really love it. So.
Oh, they love those games sold out. The halftime of a Big Three game is not uncommon to see Ice Cube perform, or rappers like T.I. or Snoop Dogg or LL Cool J. I mean, they get it going in those stadiums, and they be packed. And we may have 3 games at one time. We used to have 4, but now it's only three per day. And it was so popular. Everywhere we play, people are in line to get those tickets.
Well,
it's a lot of fun.
It's interesting because, you talk about, great players that are playing, that have had fantastic careers. They kind of know what they're doing. But you were the coach. First season, was this the third? It's been 3 seasons so far?
It's been 3 seasons. This would have been
you were a coach.
Season.
The inaugural season, you were a coach. How do you coach guys like that? How did you transition from the coaching you had already done to that? And I'm curious, is the mindset a little bit different?
It's a lot different, because remember, these guys were in the mid-30s, which is, they're experienced veterans. They know how to play. And so in 3-on-3, you can't hide, right? So actually, with a 4-point shot, if you got a great shooter, that spreads the court even more. You got to actually be able to play defense, and you got to be able to score. You can't have any guys out there just specialists.
Weak links. Yeah, you can't have weak links.
Exactly. So you're only as good as your weak link. But as a coach, you just try to put them in a position to succeed. And them guys were so motivated. I mean, they don't need much. Just give them, the teams are picked by like the best players. And they're like the general manager of their team. So they pick the other players they play with. So that's why they play so hard against each other, because they don't want to be the soft meat of the league, right? So it's very competitive. Oh my God. And we all love it. Coached by guys like Julius Erving, George Gervin, Nancy Lieberman, Lisa Leslie, Rick Barry, Rick Mahorn, Gary Payton.
That's fantastic.
I mean, these Michael Cooper, Reggie Theus, our coach. I mean, we have incredible coaches. And so it's a lot of fun, Shanda. It's really well run as well. And it's on CBS.
Well,
yes.
I'm gonna go back a little. Your first coaching days at University of Houston. Ooh. And do you remember calling me, telling me not to tell anybody that you were gonna be the coach at University of Houston? No, Chanda. He had a major press conference. Everybody in the city was trying to figure out if he was gonna take these jobs. So people were asking me, and I'm like, okay, why did he tell me this? I don't want to know this. So I had to wait. So I always joke with him, like, don't tell me nothing else that nobody else needs to know, okay? So that was his actual first coaching job. And then I also told him, like, he would be a better, like, CEO or...
You told him that?
Only because he plays golf all the time. He can play golf.
No, she was right, because, when you're coaching, you got to be there every day. That's not a lot of fun.
Especially those young ones. You can't leave them alone for a minute.
No. But the hardest part about coaching in college, it was a great gig. I did it to give back to my alma mater. We endowed about $20 million in scholarships in perpetuity, so it was well worth it for that. But everyone who played under me graduated, which is an incredible graduation rate for the 2 years I was there. So all 10 guys graduated. But it was great because I loved dealing with the young men. What I didn't like was recruiting, Shanda, and having to be there every day, Zina. Those were the 2 things I didn't like. So I was like, hey, after 2 years, I go, guys, I've given back. Y'all, hire one of my guys to keep it going.
I love that. Well, so now with your coaching hat, so you got the tennis background, you've got basketball, now you're playing golf. But when you look at some of the tennis players, the young players out there today, are there any that you're particularly interested in, that you enjoy watching, and why? What do you like to see?
Absolutely. In the ladies' game, I mean, you guys got it going. Y'all got, I enjoy watching the resurgence of, like, Taylor Townsend. I mean, that's been a great human interest story. The ability to overcome obstacles and still be the best that you can be. I mean, that's a feel-good story. I know, Zina, you were close to Taylor and her coach and mentor for many years. That's got to be a good feeling for you to see her do well. And also, guys like Naomi Osaka, ladies like her, Coco Golf. I mean, they are a breath of fresh air to the ladies' game. Because Venus and Serena can't play forever. We know that.
They're trying.
It seems like they can, but
hey, they just might. But
it's
on
incredible.
the men's side, to see guys like Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer still doing what they're doing at a high level, boy, that's beautiful to see. And to see the young guns like Kyrgios and some of the other blazing young guns who are, what's the Greek guy? Tsitsipas. Love watching those guys. I mean, love watching the game.
So you like aggressive players?
Yeah.
I like guys.
I'm catching a theme here.
Yeah, aggressive and who put in the work and not afraid to be good.
Uh-huh.
You know, give me what you got. Don't be afraid. Don't go in there beat before you get on the court. You know.
Yeah.
They got the head down, acting like, oh, I can't beat him or her. I mean, you got to give me what you got. You never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't know, Clyde, you have always been a real tennis fan, and you've been to the Open, and you know
many
really
years.
But you know, Chanda, I always get those phone calls, you know, about the new player that he likes to watch, and you know why they got doing this. But the one thing I love about you, Clyde, is you always make the connection of being mentally and physically strong, and you know, so. You know, as you've gone on, what basketball players right now that you see that has that capable? Because I consider that to be a championship type when you have the mental and the physical.
Absolutely, and Z, you're absolutely right. To be good, you got to have both traits. You can't be physically good but mentally weak. You're gonna lose too much. But when I used to watch you, Z, what I love most, Zina hated to lose, dude. She just couldn't stand to lose. So
Tell me about it. She got the same mentality, not Clyde. Don't tell her no.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell her no.
We know. But I knew if somebody beat her, they played really well that day. She hated to lose. Let me tell you, we all had that trait, and that's what all the good athletes have. If you show me an athlete that don't mind losing, I'll show you a loser.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So you got to have that ability to compete.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been fantastic. We probably got like 4 or 5 minutes left, Clyde, but I cannot get out of here without asking you. You probably know what I'm going to ask, but you know, we have our fans, our viewers who send our questions in. I got to ask you about The Last Dance. I think I know your answer, but did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet. No, Sean.
I knew you had.
I lived it, Sean. I lived it.
Yeah. So your reason is you lived it. You didn't need to see it all. You didn't need the play-by-plays. You didn't need it airbrushed.
No. I mean, Michael Jordan was a phenomenal player. That's his story from his perspective. You know, he's allowed that.
You know what? Now I want your perspective. But okay,
well,
all right.
You're gonna have to tune in for my documentary.
Your documentary. That's what I'm saying. When yours coming out?
It'll be the next
ready.
dance.
And look, and I better be in it because I know a lot of good stories. Okay. Well, Clyde, this has been amazing, and you know we're going to thank the weather for you being able to get off the golf course. I know it's a little tough for you, but I got one other question. One quick question that we did not talk about. You know, when you were on that show where you had to dance.
Which one was that? The NBA Live?
No, the first one of the Dancing with the Stars.
No, not that one.
Wait, were you on that one? I didn't know that.
No, I wasn't on it. That was somebody who looked like me.
Wait a minute.
But
Chanda, one of the judges talked about if you spend a little bit more time off of the golf course and practicing on the dance. So yeah, I gotta bring that one up. Let me tell you something.
That was a lot of fun for about 1 week. I was so bad I should have been kicked off the first week, but I lasted about 7 weeks out of 10, right?
Wow.
And I kept begging the producers, hey, get me off the show, man. It's killing my golf game. And there we go. But the people love you. I was like, oh man, but how can I get off? But it was a good experience.
Okay, so how serious are we about golf? I mean, tell me. I'm a hobbyist. I still play tennis, but I'm a hobbyist. I play 3 or 4 days a week for about the last 35 years. But I can get lucky.
I've been between a 0 and a 2 handicap for about 20 years. So.
Okay.
So I play.
You see me shaking my head. Like, I started with him and Katrina and all of us. They just went to another level. I just play for fun.
Yeah.
Zina can play. Shonda, Zina can play.
Can she? I've only played like 2 holes, so I have no idea. And I'm scared to get started because of the time commitment. And I feel like I'm going to be like it's going to take over everything. So I can't even get started with it.
Well, you got all these big responsibilities with the tennis channel. You know, you got all these jobs, Shonda. See what
not that many.
Keep them jobs low. Keep
not that many, but you know, got a few of them.
Look, my brother, this has been a pleasure, and thank you so much for doing this. And I have to say this, Chanda has not been this excited about most of our guests. She was excited about you.
Well, you know, I love both of you guys. Been watching you your whole careers. Proud of what you're doing and happy to be here for you today. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The
Y'all
feeling
stay
is
safe.
mutual.
Hey, the biggest thing about COVID is listen to the medical experts. That's it. They tell you what to do. Wear a mask, social distancing, and try to stay home if you can.
Yeah, be safe. Absolutely. On that note, we definitely can end this edition of Game.Set.Chat. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed this show. Follow us on social media and tune in next time for Game.Set.Chat, still at a distance.
That's great.